Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So alhamdulillah, man, I'm going to read a little bit from the book of Zakat. And this one second. I keep the book of Zakat, about mainly Zakat al-Fitr or Eid al-Fitr. Sometimes you will see it in the books of hadiths as Eid al-Fitr, Sadaqah al-Fitr, Zakat al-Fitr. You will see about those three names, right? And I'm going to use Ibn Majah. And then some things about fasting, the book of fasting. So, let me start off with the Zakat part, so I can discuss a few things. So again, we're going to use Ibn Majah, right? Arabic and English, right? So this one right here, and it's a discussion between me and Deeds and a couple of brothers, but mainly me and Deeds, and for the new shahadas. Because when it comes around to Zakat al-Fitr, I say Eid al-Fitr a lot, but Zakat al-Fitr, Sadaqah al-Fitr, whatever you know it by. But you'll see all three names in the books of hadith. So some masjids, so where some of the brothers, the new shahadas is, we know that the masjids, some of the masjids that's in their city, they come up with a dollar amount. So we want to prepare them for what we want to give them the sunnah, and then what went on, so that they know what to do and what's best. So with me and Deeds, where I'm asking Deeds, why do we even give Zakat al-Fitr? From the Sunnah. Why was Zakat al-Fitr, Eid al-Fitr, ordained on the Muslims? And is it wajib or is it mustahab? So Deeds gave me his answer. Y'all can't see it, or before we started recording, Deeds say it's mandatory. You know what I'm saying? It's wajib. But it's just wajib. It's from father. It's something that it's mandatory that we have to do it from the deen. So we finna look at some of the dalil. But when you know the order, like the command for us to do it and why it was commanded, then you may look at what you do differently. And like the people who may have put a dollar amount or came up with, like people who say it can only be barley and wheat or rice, something dry that's going to last in your cabinet for 3 months, a staple food and different things like that. We're going to look into that too. Let me grab this right quick before we get into this, because I want people to understand this. I showed it in the video before, but I want people to understand it. Okay, this right here is a mud. This is what they used to make wudu with, ghusl, and they also use it as a measurement. This right here is a sa, right? Sa is very deep, it's wide. You know what I'm saying? But basically, when it's paid in full, food, it's supposed to be equivalent to a sa of food, cooked uncooked. So when they have you give a dollar amount, it might not be enough food. The dollar amount that they put on it might not be enough to cover a sock of food. So it depends on how they look at it, and how the masses is, because I done put on the board different classes, how the scholars of fiqh, scholars of usul, some people put the scholars of usul and the scholar of fiqh together in one category, and then the Ahl Hadith, the scholars of Hadith, right? They don't all see the Sunnah as the exact same thing, right? Which I don't want this to get too lengthy or confusing. So they don't all see the Sunnah as the exact same thing. So if some of them declare Zakat al-Fitr as a Sunnah, sometimes when it comes to a Sunnah, you could just do whatever you want. Alright? That's why they can come up with dollar amounts. And it is times where certain people from the Salaf, they did give money. But did they give money every year? Did they always give money? See, these are things you have to look into. And like I said, when you understand the ruling on what's supposed to be given, whether it's mandatory, whether it isn't mandatory, sometimes your dollar amount might not cover what's a sah of food. And then some of the misconceptions. So anyway, we're going to use Sunan Ibn Majah, right? To start off with why it was commanded. And this is something, alhamdulillah, man, just seeing this wisdom that Allah blessed the Rasul with, because we need it. So look at this right here. It was narrated that Ibn Abbas said, the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, enjoined Zakat al-Fitr as a purification for the fasting person from idle talking and obscenities, and with the purposes to feed the poor. Now look at that. So the Rasul enjoined, commanded, made Zakat al-Fitr a thing for us to purify our fasting from idle talking, obscenities. Obscenities can fall under a lot of things, more than just cussing, things that could be considered obscene in the deen. For the people who smoke cigarettes, some people may smoke cigarettes while they are fasting. Some people may smoke marijuana while they are fasting. Some people may vape while they are fasting. Some people may not lower their gaze. Some people may watch stuff on TV that they shouldn't. Some people may get to arguing with their spouse, yelling and cussing with their family, their brothers and sisters, using and having just idle talk that leads to unnecessary arguments. So for the Muslims who fall into that and lose a little bit from their Ramadan, the Zakat al-Fitr at the end of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, was enjoined upon a Muslim to purify their Ramadan for all of that stuff that they fell into. For all of that stuff that they fell into. Daqiq, I gotta check something. Daqiq, Asif. So it's to purify your fast from all these little mistakes that you've made. Because there's other hadiths that say those who don't stay away from vain, idle, unnecessary conversations, lying, not, conversations, even if you're sitting there listening to a person just lying, you may not know they lying though. And a lot of wasting time, talking about TV shows, and some of the men may fall into talking about how a female look, Females may get to talking about how a man look. Just different things that go on during Ramadan that take away. So like it says in the hadith, those who fall into that and don't discontinue it during Ramadan, Allah is not in need of your fast. So because your fast can be taken away from you, or you can diminish some of your fast, the Zakat al-Fitr at the end, Zakat al-Fitr, Sadaqah al-Fitr, Eid al-Fitr, whatever you want to call it, is to purify and make up for those things that you fell into. Right? So let me write this right here, just to keep it as a reminder, right? Purify your fast. So the minimum, right? The minimum is a sa of food, right? So let's say you argue every day. Let's say you got into an argument every day. You cussed every day. Smoked. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Not as a judgment, because people have habits. Cigarettes, vape, marijuana, black and milds, you know, whatever. If you did all this every day, or the majority of Ramadan during the daytime while you was fasting, and also at night, this is me, I would give more than a sa. Why? Because I want to purify my Ramadan. I want to purify my fasting for Ramadan. When you understand why it was commanded, when you understand why it was commanded, this may change what you do and how much you give. Right? Now, the usul or the usul is to give from what you eat, from the type of food that you eat. So they may start to say it got to be staple, it got to be able to last for 3-4 months, but you don't eat cereal, you don't care for cereal, but you just gonna go get some big boxes of cereal because it fall under barley and wheat. But that's really not from what you eat. You might go buy some bags, a real big bag of rice because you hope it covers a sa. But you give it to some people, and to keep it 100 with you, a lot of people don't know how to cook rice out of the bag. A lot of people don't. But when you don't even eat that kind of rice. You go get it where you can throw it in a microwave for 30 seconds or a minute and something. That's really not from what you eat. Or a bag of beans and different things, and then people thinking that it can't be meat. That's a falsity. That is a falsity. Okay? And all you got to do is just look into it and just look at the hadiths. And then when you understand the usul, it's from the type of food that you eat. But the minimum is a sa. You giving this to another Muslim, you're trying to purify and help your fast for Ramadan get accepted from all of the mistakes, the idle talking, things that's considered to be obscene in Ramadan. Like for sisters, which they may not think so. Wearing weaving lashes. Take it off during Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? Look. No hijab. Where you hijab all in Ramadan? You know what I'm saying? Short sleeve shirts, skin showing. But if you're going to do all that, and you know that you have to do it, right? Like you done told yourself, I have to do this because of where I work, or I'm a student, whatever reasons that people be telling themselves. And I as I'm going through my head naming things, I got to be careful, because I know some people that they may feel like it applied to them, and I don't know it, because I haven't seen them in probably like 3 years, but it might apply to them. So I want to be careful with my words. So this isn't to nobody particular that I know. These is things that I see from the Muslim sisters. So it's the same with the brothers, the ones who still smoking, or the ones who just have habits, man, cigarettes and vaping and stuff. When you get done, make sure you give some type of zakat al-fitr from what you would eat, and try to purify your Ramadan, man. Try to purify your fast and the good deeds that you did during Ramadan. So this is just the hustle of it. So let me give y'all the next one. So why they come into certain things. But let me finish the hadith. So it says, and to feed the poor. Because the Eid is a celebration. They didn't want any poor people. When you dig into more hadiths, I'm just giving a couple. But they wanted to make sure that everybody was able to eat good the day of the Eid and for the next 2-3 days. You see what I'm saying? They wanted people to be able to eat good for the Eid and at least the next couple of days. Right? So it says whoever pays it before the Eid prayer, it is accepted as zakat. And whoever pays it after the prayer is sadaqah. And then it goes, you could go into some of the explanations where some of the Salaf would pay it 2 days before the Eid prayer, the day of the Eid. And you know, they was collecting it and distributing it. So they wanted people to be able to come pick it up, and you know, they got it prepared for the families to come pick it up. You know, now they have like, I ain't gonna go into that. So that's what Zakat al-Fitr was ordained for. So the next hadith, it was narrated that Qais bin Sa'd said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam enjoined. See, the first hadith, even with the Arabic, the first hadith, they use Zakat al-Fitr. At this particular time, it was mandatory. Now when you come into the next hadith, they're using the word Sadaqah al-Fitr. So the Messenger of Allah enjoined Sadaqah al-Fitr up on us before the command of Zakat was revealed. So this is before Zakat became mandatory. Right? When the command of Zakat was revealed, he neither ordered us to pay nor forbade us from paying Sadaqah al-Fitr. So it's not wajib. You don't have to do it once regular zakat became mandatory. It's up to you. So some people going to say it went from being fard, you had to do it, to a sunnah. Just like fasting the day of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, or the 9th of Muharram. There's differences, but anyway, at one point before the fast of Ramadan came, they was on it. Then when the fast of Ramadan came, you had a choice whether you wanted to do it or not. But the reward remained. Even with Sadaqah al-Fitr, the reward remains. So that's why you can have different rulings on it should be money, because people have bills and stuff that they didn't have back then. You know, they didn't have electric bills, water bills, trash bills, car insurance, house insurance, cable, phone bills. They didn't have none of that. They didn't have bills. Buy your foods and your household things and clothing. And you know, if you had a riding beast and animals that you got milk from, you fed them. That's where your money went from. Or you traded things, you bartered. So they didn't have bills. So you have some who say, okay, but they had money. But you have bills. So some people may not want no food because in America, you get a food stamp card. But they might need some gas money. These people might need this. These people might need that. But when you, like me personally, I give zakat to the people myself. Wallahi. Because, like I said, coming from being a person of hadith, when I come here to a masjid and understanding what a sa is, when I came to this city and became a part of this community, they was charging, everybody had to give. When I first came in, it was like $3 per family member. $3 wasn't enough for a sa food. So when I come in, I'm like, wait a minute, where this dollar amount thing come from? Because at the time I didn't know about the dollar amount. You don't see it in hadith. You had to go into you had to go look into the Salaf define that. So I'm like, it's supposed to be food. But the funny thing is, they was like, no, it's not. You know, Tabliki, Hanafi, Deobandi Masjid / Wharf Dean. At the time, the Wharf Dean Imam was still alive. So it was still Wharf Dean Masjid, but the Tablikis had made their way on the board, so it was half and half. So it was $3 per person that you had in your family member. For every kid, your wife, or whatever. But all of them were saying it wasn't supposed to be food at all. So I said, I'll pay it myself. I'll just go find some person who need it and I'll feed them. Right? But then it led me to go look into it and find that at a particular time, it was a couple of people from the Salaf at a particular time. They did give some money. I don't say they did it every single year. Don't say they always did it. But by me knowing the hadiths and knowing what it's for, and I know people can classify it as a sunnah, it's not mandatory. Like, you don't have to give anything at all if you don't want to. So for the masjids who forced the people to do it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this masjid here, it was a time when, because some of the people couldn't pay it, they wouldn't let them eat none of the food. Wallahi. They wouldn't let them eat none of the food. And I think by this time, this was just a few years ago, where they had moved it up to like $25 per family member. You know what I'm saying? And some people have like 4 or 5 kids and they didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Some of them have 4 or 5 kids and a wife, man. They want $150, $175 from them. And they wouldn't let them eat no food. You can't force it on nobody, Zakat al-Fitr. But by people who don't understand, they don't understand hadiths. And then these people, like I showed the system, you learning from somebody who learned from somebody who learned from somebody who learned from somebody who never really learned from a person that was educated. So you can't force it. So that's what I'm saying, man. These masjids, and it started with these are foundational masjids, these Wharf Dean, taken over by Indian Pakistanis, Tabliki Jamaats, until Arabs started coming in. And this was a system that they established, so a lot of masjids force a dollar amount on you. And when you go look at hadiths, you can't do that. You can't force people into doing it. You can't force them on a dollar amount. This isn't zakat, the 2.5% of your wealth. This is Zakat al-Fitr for the Eid. And this is why I say to people, man, y'all really need to get into the sunnah yourself. But when you look at how it is and what it purifies, what it's for, the purposes of it, then yeah, you want to give it. You want to give it. So it says, just to go into the explanation, the Taqreej, this hadith apparently shows that giving Sadaqah al-Fitr is not obligatory. However, the collection of Sadaqah al-Fitr by the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and distribution among the poor give emphasis that the legislations of the rule of Zakat do not abrogate the obligation of Sadaqah al-Fitr. So the simple fact that they're going to collect it and distribute it, you should feel obligated to give it, but they can't force it up on you. These is just rulings. They can't force a dollar amount, especially if you don't have it. Some people need the zakat. They don't even fall under the category of a person who's supposed to be paying this specific dollar amount that you done put on everybody. See, if it's a sa, the minimum is a sa. How you gonna put a $25 limit on a person and his wife, and they got 4 or 5 kids? This $100 and something. It's a sa though. It's a sa if you got a sa to give away. If you don't have a sa to give away, then your obligation is not a sa. Once the regular zakat came in, the rules changed because it went from fard and as a means to purify your fast to, like I said, just look at these key words right here. When the command of zakat was revealed, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam neither ordered us to pay it. Y'all can't order a dollar amount and force it on the people. That's not from the Sunnah. That's not from the Salaf. Nor forbade us from continuing to give it. The choice is yours. No ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. So that's all I'm saying, man. For people who not aware, and I'm not trying to be a fitna or cause any conflict, if you can afford the dollar amount and y'all have a dollar amount put up on y'all and you giving it to them and they figure out how to distribute it, alhamdulillah, do what you can, but do it with those intentions that you're trying to purify your fast from all the mistakes and little things that you did, although you stayed away from food, drinks, and sex in the daytime. It's all the other little stuff that you didn't refrain from, and you want to purify for that, because our deeds is based off of our intentions, so, and your sincerity. So now that you know what's to it, for those who don't know, make sure you're purifying that when you give your zakat. Wallahi, for years I've always done it. I fed some people, cooked food, non-cooked food, and one thing that I would do, I would go get like lasagna tray, because at the time I didn't have a sa, but I had somewhat of an idea what it looked like. So I would go get one of them trays that you cook lasagna in, and like if it was during the summertime, I would cook like lamb chops. Wallahi, this real talk, not for a bragging purpose. I would cook some lamb chops. I know how to make the lamb kebabs, or some people call them kefta kebabs. I would make them. Kefta, some mixed lamb and beef, but mine would just be straight lamb. Lamb chops, lamb kebabs. Sometimes I would cook some Cornish hens, right? I would cook a few Cornish hens, or I would grill chicken. So I got grilled chicken, lamb kebabs, lamb chops, sometimes Cornish hens, and then some type of vegetables, and then like a whole bunch of rice. So I would fill the pan up with the biryani rice, right? And then throw a Cornish hen on top of it, some lamb chops, some lamb kebabs, right? And then whatever little side vegetables or whatever I had, and the people I talked to, whatever type of vegetable they had, and I would just get in the whole tray, cover the whole thing up with foil, and then I would take it to them. And the grilled chicken. Sometimes they have a Cornish hen and grilled chicken, just depending on how many kids they have. And sometimes one of them was sufficient, but I would do like 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? Some people I would go give it to their mom. You know what I'm saying? Just different things like that. Sometimes I have fish in them, shrimp in it. And then by me cooking it with my hands and doing it myself, you know what I'm saying? And I'm overpaying it. This is what I did though. And I know what I did where it came from. Now, let me read another hadith, because this is where some people get confused about certain things. So this is a hadith. These hadiths is also in Bukhari and Muslim. I'm just using Ibn Majah, right? So it was narrated that Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said, we used to pay, now even in the Arabic, now it's going back to Zakat al-Fitr, right? When the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was among us, 1 sa of food, 1 sa of dates, 1 sa of barley, 1 sa of sun-baked cottage cheese, 1 sa of raisins. We continued to do that until Muawiyah came to us in Al-Madinah. One of the things he said to the people was, I think that 2 muds, I put it back in the thing, but the first voodoo thing I showed y'all, that was a mud. So he said, I think 2 muds of wheat from Shams is equivalent to 1 sa of this, right, of dates. So the people followed that. Abu Sa'id said, I will continue to pay it as I used to pay it as the time of the Messenger of Allah for as long as I live. So Abu Sa'id didn't agree with Muawiyah. He busted down, but he was saying in this, but y'all heard what he said. I don't want to get too deep into it. But the reason why I read that, because I wanted to point out that they listed was among us was 1 sa of food. That could be camel meat. It could be cooked. 1 sa of the food that we eat and the people we giving it to, we know that they eat. Or 1 sa of dates, or 1 sa of barley, 1 sa of sun-baked cottage cheese, or 1 sa of raisins. These are some of the things they chose to give. But the 1 sa of food, it could have been whatever they ate. So for like certain people who feel like it can't be meat and all this other stuff, it had to be staple. We have freezers now. They didn't have freezers. You could give people a family pack of chicken. You know what I'm saying? A family pack of drumsticks, a family pack of wings, some of those family packs of steak. They could put them in their freezer. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes we giving people a whole bunch of stuff that just sit in a cabinet that they don't eat. Everybody don't cook beans. Everybody don't eat cereal. Everybody don't know how to cook the bags of big white rice. A lot of people don't know how to cook that. I know a lot of people, I ain't gonna knock it, but I done seen some people give some people some stuff for Zakat al-Fitr, and then they turned around and gave it to somebody else because they didn't eat none of it. You want it to be something from they eat. If you eat lobsters and shrimps and crab seafood boils, just like one of them big old trays with the seafood boils that you can get with crab and lobster tails and jumbo shrimps, potatoes, beef sausage or turkey sausage in it where the Muslims do it, and eggs and potatoes and corn, get you one of them and give it to somebody for Zakat al-Fitr. It's permissible. But anyway, so that's just a little bit what I wanted to read from the Zakat al-Fitr. I'm not saying anybody have to do it. I'm not trying to force it on nobody. But, and these hadiths is authentic. This isn't nothing that's da'if. This isn't nothing that's fabricated. These are Sahih hadiths. Y'all can go look into it yourself. Y'all can find these in PDF. Look them up. Sunan Ibn Majah, Volume 3. You can find it, like I said, you can find them in Bukhari also. So let me wrap it up and give y'all something on the merits of fasting. Look at this right here. So, what was narrated concerning the virtues of fasting? So it's giving you the fiqh that you're supposed to get from the hadith, the virtues of fasting. So this is why you're gonna hear me always say I'm Bani Adam. People can talk about Bani Israel, I'm Bani Adam, man. No matter what color, whatever, this and that, I'm Bani Adam. So it was narrated from Abu Hurairah that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, every good deed of the son of Adam will be multiplied manifold, right? A good deed will be multiplied 10 times up to as many as 700 times. Let's write that down. So it's multiplied up to, let's write that down, because I like to put a number on it. So it's saying it's multiplied by 10. So 10 to 700. Now let's say a sacred month where this is multiplied just like Rajab, with the month we just came out of. So let's say you do something, you doing it to the point where you getting a 700 every time. Then you do that to Rajab, just on the way it's multiplied, you could get that up to 1400, possibly 2100, etc. Because it's a sacred month. But let's say it's a sin. We just gonna put, let's say that sin you doing is 700. In a sacred month, it's possible to go to 1400, 2100. That's the beauty of knowing these things for when you dealing with stuff during a sacred month. Now, what takes it from 10 to 700, or whatever Allah decides, or anything in between, is based off of your intentions, your sincerity, and if you do it in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah, and you don't fall short. So some of it might fall short, and you might get 150. You might get 20. And that don't mean it's just multiplied by 10s. You may could get an 11 or a 12 or a 13. Right? 699. Right? But look at this. So it says, as many as 700 times, or as much as Allah's wills. So it could be more than that. But Allah says, except for fasting, which is for me, and I shall reward for it what Allah chooses. So, but this is the fast for Ramadan, though. Hold on, let me finish it. Except for the fast, which is for me, and I shall reward for it. He gives up his desires. That don't just mean sexual. That means that marijuana, and you know what I'm saying, the different things we deal with. You know what I'm saying? Not lowering the gaze, not covering properly. Things that we desire, chasing money. He gives up his desires and his food for my sake. The fasting person has two joys. One, when he breaks his fast, and another, when he meets his Lord. The smell that comes from the mouth of a fasting person is better before Allah than the fragrance of musk. This is for the Bani Adam, right? Baki. So it continues, it says, the abundance, this is the Takhrij, the abundance of rewards depends upon good intentions, sincerity, and on the obedience of Quran and Sunnah. So the more you do it in order with the Quran and Sunnah, the more the deeds is. This is how you can lessen your salat. This is how you can lessen your fast. When you're doing things that's not in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah, while you're not eating or drinking or having sex during the daytime, that's why the purification should be done, but do it abundantly if you can afford to. Don't do the bare minimum and you know you ain't stopped doing a whole bunch of stuff that you was doing during Ramadan. You see what I'm saying? Because you rewarded this 10 to 700 and this and that and the third. But like it says, as much as Allah wills, Allah says except for fasting during Ramadan. So you want to do a whole lot of other good deeds during Ramadan to get those 700. I like to call it counting the money. Just like, I take a brother to Jumar, how many sunnahs did you do? You know what I'm saying? How much sunnahs you did? Let's add up the money. Let's count up our money. You know what I'm saying? We ain't putting no 10 on it or no 700 on it, but the deeds that we actually did that fall in order with the Quran and Sunnah. Count your money up every Jum'ah and see what you come up with. Count your money up during Rajab, the sacred months, Muharram, the two dhuls, right? And when Ramadan hit, do all those other good deeds, man, besides just fasting, and run that dollar up. Run them deeds up, man. You should. And as it continues, right? So it says, only the action is accepted which is performed and seeking the pleasure of Allah. Make sure it's fi-sabilillah, right? The real benefit of fasting is achieving only when a person abstains from fulfilling false desires of the heart, just as one abstains from eating. Likewise, one should abstain from telling lies, backbiting, vain talks, idle conversations, just useless conversation, not lowering the gaze, and our other little guilty pleasures. You know what I'm saying? Our cigarettes, our marijuana, our eyelashes, our weaves, our not covering, our vapes. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta wrap it up, but that's just a little bit of it. And then another one, which we should understand this too, right? So Mutarif from the tribe of Banu Amir, I'm getting tongue tied. So Mutarif from the tribe of Banu Amr bin Sa'ah narrated that Uthman bin Abul As-Athaqif invited him to drink milk. Then he poured for him. Mutarif said, I am fasting. Uthman said, I heard the messenger of Allah say, fasting is a shield against the fire, just like the shield of anyone that you use when you're fighting. So fasting is that shield. So this is, and you could take from this and see, obviously it wasn't Ramadan because he wouldn't have poured him a glass of milk. So this is a fasting outside of Ramadan. So he, when he see him fasting, they both, you just remind, like they say, a good companion is one that reminds you of Allah, right? This deen. When he see him fasting, he's like, man, I'm fasting. Boom, that hadith come to his head. The sunnah come to his head. You know what I'm saying? You done reminded this man of his deen. That might have made him do some fasting. That's a good companion. Not, oh man, what you telling me you fasted for, man? You just think you better than other people. Some of the stuff that you hear today. are you just trying to make me look bad? And some of the foolishness that I hear today and stuff that people tell me, people say to them, right? So it says in the talk reads, if one is invited for eating and drinking, it is not necessary to break the voluntary fast to accept the invitation. So you can still go. You don't have to break your fast to come chill with him. Now, me personally, when I seen him getting ready to pour the glass or something, I would have told him before he poured it. Alhamdulillah. But it was the qadr of Allah that it went the way that it went. And now we had this athar from the minhaj of the Salaf that we could learn from. We could learn from this methodology on how they carried it with each other. Right? Telling someone about one's own good deed for justifying something is not showing off. So he wasn't doing it for the purposes of riyah. You see what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. So I just wanted to share those couple things, man, about the importance of fasting and the Zakat al-Fitr. So inshallah this year we can have a different mindset on, for the ones who not aware of it, of preserving our fast. And let me say one quick thing, man, before I wrap it up. So a brother had hit me up in the comments on my Clear Quran video. And, you know, he made a comment like, what scholars precede you, the usual rhetoric. Although there's no scholars that warn against the Clear Quran, that the mistake that they say is a mistake. What about where's the scholar that preceded y'all in what y'all saying is a mistake? But he posted a video, and like I said, I've been around a long time, man. So I'm familiar with this. I'm familiar with the way they do things. So he posted a video for me to click as the Leo that the Clear Quran has been warned against. That all Quran, it ain't permissible to read any Qurans on this earth in English except for the Noble Quran. This is what they want you to believe. So when I clicked the video, I'm familiar with it. I didn't know what the video was going to be. Cool, I'm going to take a look at it because I'm still waiting for y'all to show me this. And then at the same time, I know it's not going to happen like that because it's not a mistake. It's a mistake to them because they not aware of it. It's a mistake to them. And then even saying what scholars preceded you in this, when scholars compiled the book. Scholars compiled the Clear Quran. And it's stamped by Al-Azhar University. What's your top 3 universities? Mecca, Medina, and Al-Azhar. Some people actually rank Al-Azhar over the university in Mecca. Some people. I'm not saying I do. You know what I'm saying? Because certain things, I ain't going to go into that. But these is generally your top 3 universities. If it's stamped by Al-Azhar, the academic department is stamped by scholars. Plus, you can see the scholarship in it because it's thematic. A lot of people don't even know that thematic is a way that you study the Quran. So, I look at the video, and I'm just gonna make the video short. For one, it was in Arabic and somebody was translating it. He was just warning against the use of Ali, not the actual translation, but the explanations that Yusuf Ali put in the footnotes is what he was warning against. And he was saying Sheikh bin Baz, when Sheikh bin Baz was made aware of it, he called for the copy of Musan Khan to be done. So he was saying when it comes to the tafsirs, the explanation in it, only use Musan Khan for the explanations because Musan Khan used tafsirs Ibn Kathir. So it's not like it's Musan Khan explanation of the Quran ayat. He's using tafsir Ibn Kathir. So when it comes to the explanations that people like put in footnotes or their stuff, only use the Musan Khan for the explanation because he used tafsirs. That's what he said. And he specifically, when scholars warn, they show you what the mistake is. So he went into the mistakes that was in the Yusuf Ali Quran. He never said the clear Quran. Now listen to this though. And like I said, I'm familiar with the Sheikh Hassan Sheikh Hassan Abdul Wahab Albana, right? Egyptian guy. He passed away now. He passed away like maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe 4. It could have been 4. It was like around COVID. Either when COVID was starting, been about 5 years. It was like around COVID or something like that. But anyway, he was a very old guy, man. He was, he lived to probably be about 96 or something. But anyway, Salafi, real strong. But in the video, he's warning against the use of Ali translation. Not every single English translation. And when he said when it comes to reading the explanations, the tafsir portion of it, only take from the Musin Khan, because Bin Baz supervised it. That's what he said. Now, this video was from 2013. 2013. Now, because they don't know, like it's not intentional, they just parrot each other. Let me show y'all something. Just to show y'all something, man. And I made sure I screenshotted it. Let me get that up there. Y'all see that? The clear Quran was translated. It was first published in 2015. How they warn about a book that wasn't even out yet? Now, he was alive when this translation came out. He didn't warn against it. Now, and on top of that, we talk about the minhaj of the Salaf, right? That means we understand what ijma is. If one scholar say, I don't like it, or I advise against it, but 80 other scholars say that it's permissible to read, what you go with? Where's the ijma? See, we always screaming, Salaf as-Salih, the minhaj of the Salaf, but then when it's something that we want to fit us or put into a box, we'll go to an independent statement. It's more than one scholar when you open a book up and see in the cover of it. A scholar did the book under the supervision of other scholars. That's still ijma against one individual statement. Although they never warned against the clear Quran. The clear Quran wasn't even published then. Now, just a little history on why the clear Quran was even done. One, so that it would be thematic. But the intentions when it started wasn't to make it thematic. But making it thematic shows his scholarship. A lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not, and I know some Salafis from the side that don't like nobody, they don't even like the Noble Quran. The parentheses throw them off. I know some that have a Noble Quran and they don't even read it. I was the one who told them to get it and they didn't like it. They felt like I was trying to mess them up. But when they talk to other people, oh man, the Noble Quran is the only ones you should have, because they want to come off Salafi. But they don't even read it. They don't like it. The parentheses throw them off. There's a lot of people, to be honest with you, out of 10 people that I seen get the Noble Quran, none of them liked it. The parentheses threw them off. What's in the parentheses? What's Quran? What's their explanation? Wallahi, when Ramadan came, man, I can't finish. It's making it too hard for me to finish my jewels a day because they got too much stuff in the parentheses. This too much extra reading. So because the parentheses was throwing everybody off, they came up with the clear Quran to eliminate the translated and eliminate the parentheses. And then on top of why they was doing it, they made it thematic. But see, this is what they don't know. And like I said, I ain't gonna say a lot. I know some Salafis from that side that have a Noble Quran, and when they talk that Noble Quran stuff, because if they don't, they're gonna look at them like they're kafir. Oh man, you off it. You read something other than the Noble Quran? because they don't like the parentheses. You see what I'm saying? They don't like the parentheses. It throw them off. Wallahi. I know a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot, I know several Muslims that don't like the Noble Quran, and they men. I say men and a couple of females I know. And then some of them forced their way through it, but they didn't like it. So the clear Quran was a translation that came to remove the parentheses, where they also give the explanation from the tafsirs. So like even in that video, that's why I pointed out where he chose to use himself. This was, and then I showed this was an explanation from Tafsir Sa'di. This is from tafsirs. But what they do is, and they do that with a lot, they go find old videos and then they try to put a hukum on other people and make all these different rulings and stuff. How they warn against a book that wasn't even out yet? Just like right now, we in 2025. By 2030, it may be somebody who's stronger in English and be a scholar. They might come up with another one that makes the English even more clearer. You see what I'm saying? So again, that video, it had nothing to do with any other Quran. It was speaking specifically on the Yusuf Ali Quran. The Sahih International is not warned against. It's a decent one. But like I say, even when it comes in English, all of them have some things that you can look at like, okay. But the English translations, ain't no English translations out here throwing people off and making them deviants. No way. It's some of the stuff like Yusuf Ali put in the footnotes. And when you put them side by side, they about 90% the same thing, may just worded a little different. Because they only taking the Arabic and translating it. It's the footnotes that they had an issue with. And when the Qurans is real bad, like the way they used to have like them Shakir ones and the Nuruddin Durkis and all that, when the Quran is so bogus as an English translation, the Saudi government, the kingdom, they actually have them pulled out of distribution. So the only way some people still have them is because they had them from like the 80s and the 90s. Like you can't go buy them no more. They shut them down. So for the simple fact that it's still, because like, you know, it was like some kafirs, they try to make up these Quran ayats. I mean, they actually printed them. And they got into circulation for about a year. And the scholars caught them. Where they had blatant like lies in it. And then they go to the publishing company. And then they could sue it because you're translating a noble book. And then when you translate it and you mistranslate it, they could go have it shut down. So they have them pulled. So if it was that bad, just like with the Yusuf Ali, they had it pulled and they revised it to where that stuff, because it wasn't the translation, it was what was in the footnotes that was dangerous. They had it pulled and had that stuff taken out of it. So if you got like a 2015 Yusuf Ali, maybe 2012-ish, then it ain't really that bad. It's the ones that was in like them ones from like the 90s and you know, them was the bad ones. But I just wanted to show that, man, and show, cause they do that a lot. Just like how I said with the ones who was talking that Wahhabi stuff. Who was the scholars that came up with this term Wahhabis for the Salafis? Oh, this one, this one, this one. And these was people that lived 700-800 years before Abdul Wahhab was alive. You trying to show a video, but then he did come back with another comment talking about, oh, okay, mashallah, I went and looked at some more of the video. Like, okay, now I got a better understanding talking about, but this conversation probably should be held in private because I know it's going to be an argument. It ain't going to be no argument because I have a different understanding. I know that's not a mistake. And I know ain't no scholars warned against it. I heard the first person who started saying something about it when he was asked a question about it. And it was Hassan Somali. And then after he said something about it years ago, right? He never said the ulema said this. He said that has some Akida mistakes that's in it. And I was like, Akida mistakes? Now myself, I didn't want it. I was only a noble person. Then when I went and took a thematic class in Quran, right? I took two different thematic Quran classes. When I took this thematic Quran class, they had a whole box of clear Qurans. And then they gave us all one. But there was no Arabic in it. They gave us one because they wanted to show us how it's broken down and it's thematic. So as we going through it, and then he's reading the Quran and he, the Arabic, and then he's breaking it down thematic, and I'm sitting up like, man, so this book kind of thorough. This thing, I've never seen a Quran because none of the other Qurans is thematic. You have to go sit with a teacher and them teach you thematic Quran. Noble Quran clear Quran is the only one. You have to sit with a scholar and get taught thematic. Now the one who I was sitting with, he was a PhD graduate. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was a master's. I'm not sure. I think he was a master's. I think he had a master's. But anyway, he gave it to me. I was like, man, alhamdulillah. So I ordered one with the Arabic in it. Dakik, let me show it. Hold on one second. So I got two. This is my carry-around one. This is the one I ordered. Then I got this real big one, which is easy to read, right? But the paperback one, I gave it to somebody and just ordered one after we was probably in like the middle of Bakra. But up on reading this and going through the thing, I said, man, this joint is like that. Even when, even getting close to the end, just to show some of the notes and stuff I done read, because I want people to understand, I read the whole thing 3 times. I read this one, and I done read this, like when Ramadan come, I do my jewels with this one. Like even with me just opening it up right there, I don't know if it show, but in the red, you can see where I done took my notes and all that. I've read it. I'm not weak enough, not stock for a lot, that may be a bad choice of words. One thing that y'all have to understand, man, when people ask questions, some people at a level of weakness that they're not supposed to stay on. See, the real goal is us as Muslims, we really supposed to learn the Arabic and get completely away from English translations. You understand? So some of us don't know we be asking these questions, and when you sit with scholars and you ask them, sometimes the question you ask, you don't know how simple it is. You understand? So people have this dawah like everybody is weak. They really talk to you like y'all can't understand anything on your own. Right? Let's say, for instance, you give a scholar, or you give a PhD student, a master's student, a student who has a bachelor's, and then you give them any single Quran, no matter what's to it, and then they pick it up and then they start reading it, and they could be like, whoa, this is a mistake right here. These are supposed to be students of knowledge and teachers, but y'all can't recognize that something is a mistake. Y'all have to ask questions like, which English translation should we use? That right there shows a level of education to a scholar. So sometimes the way that the question is answered, and that's why I'm saying, like, even if you want to try to tell me, brother, the scholar said stay away from that, this, that, and the third. I ain't saying no scholar, but I'm not so weak that the clear Quran will confuse me. I'm not so weak that the use of Ali will confuse me. Everybody not a poop butt. So all this, you know what I'm saying? And I want to word it that way because the people who they have up under them, oh, don't do that, you can't do that, like they poop butts. They don't have enough up here to recognize if it's a mistake in this or that. We talking about people who've been Muslim 20, 30 years. Everybody not a poop butt, kid. But they don't really, and everybody don't ask poop butt questions. And I'm saying that respectfully. So they always driving and running down, just like the same with the Asheries. They always trying to run and drive down on people when they be the one who making a mistake. Because like I said, the mistake that y'all referring to in the book isn't even a mistake. But the problem is because some of the people on all these sect sides, I don't want to put them on no sect. They my Salafi brothers. I'm Salafi. But the problem is because some people put Sheikh and Ustad and all this stuff on their name, people think they really talking to somebody that's a sheikh. So anything they say or anything they come with, and then they do little stuff like try to go get super duper old videos or go find a very old video from 2008. Sheikh bin Baz, I remember they tried to use a video of Sheikh bin Baz talking about this is what he said about Shadid Muhammad. About something that Shadid Muhammad, they felt like he did in like 2015. Sheikh bin Baz been passed away since like maybe 2009, 10, 2008. Sheikh Uthaymeen them been passed away since he was. My point is he had already been passed away. The video he was in was, this is what the scholar said about Shadid Muhammad. How could they have said that about him? Already, first and foremost, the video like 8, 9 years old. Just like the same way, this is your proof that they warned against the clear Quran that first was published in 2015, and this video is from 2013. And then it's supposed to be an argument? Argument about what? I just want to say this right here. I'm not such a poop butt that reading this is going to confuse me. Let me make that clear. I'm not such a poop butt that I have to listen to y'all for every last thing that I want to know. I don't have to listen to y'all at all. So I don't have to listen to nobody that you listening to for anything that I need to know. I'm not that much of a poop butt. Do I say that I feel like I know more than them or I feel like I'm better than them? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't have to listen to the list of people that it's only permissible for y'all to listen to in order to know something. You understand what I'm saying? So, respectfully, everybody not no poop butt. You know what I'm saying? People should have they knowledge up enough to be it, because like I said, the goal is to learn the Arabic and then read it from there. And like I just accomplished another goal, finally completing the whole entire Quran from front to back in Arabic. And now that I've actually done it, I used to hear people say, when you read the whole entire Quran in Arabic from front to back, now keep in mind, I'm reading it every single night. I missed 2 nights. I'm reading it every single night. So it's not like I'm reading it, then a month passed, then I read it, then 2. I'm reading it every single night. And it said when you read it, when you read the whole Quran from front to back, you're going to find out how weak you is in Arabic. Because one thing that you will find out, somebody might have a surah memorized. It might even be Al-Fatiha. But then you put that Quran in front of them and tell them to read the Al-Fatiha. They can't read it the way they reciting it. Some people, it throw them off when they start reading surahs that they have memorized. It throw them off because they can't read it the way they reciting it. Because they learn by like listening to people off YouTube and not following along with the Quran, or doing stuff like doing their own little transliterations, changing it to English letters and stuff. So when they get to reading it, they can't sound the same. And I tell you this, boy, that Quran put belt on me. Because I was getting to certain parts and stuff that I don't have memorized and ain't never read in Arabic. Got to seeing words and I was just like, it put belt on you. But see, I've experienced it. So I understand it now. And I used to hear people who had a lot of Quran memorizing, and they were saying that it didn't make no sense to me. But I experienced it. Just like right now, like I'm saying. I read this. And then last year, I went to another Quran class, and we was using the Sahih International. I went through the Sahih International with the class, with the Quran class. They was just using it. They was reading it. They using Arabic, but they give that book to the people as to follow along with. But they chose Sahih International intentionally to show certain things and stuff that was in it. And after I got done with the class, I gave the Sahih International away to somebody to give to another person. But when it came to them clear Qurans, because it's thematic, and I had went through a thematic class before this one, I like to take some of the same classes with different teachers. The first one I didn't have no book. They just had us take one. I mean, I was using my Noble, and I was following along with my Noble while we was going through the thematic class. But this one, they actually had a thematic Quran. Even when you look at it right there, look what that say. A thematic English translation of the message of the final revelation by Dr. Mustafa. By Dr. Mustafa Khattab. That right there lets you know he's a scholar. He's a PhD. You might not want to claim him. He might not be Salafi enough for you, but this right here, he shows scholarship. A thematic translation. People don't even know thematic is a thing. This is the only one. And y'all sitting up there trying to tell people not to get it. Oh, not to get it. There's a mistake in it. No, it ain't. The mistake, you making a mistake. You know what I'm saying? But not to keep going into it with them cats, man. But y'all just got to be careful, man. Don't, just like they say, don't let a person who ain't never made $1 million tell you how not to make it. They ain't read it. They ain't went through it for themselves. They don't know what's in it. Are y'all strong enough to read it and then say, oh, well, you know this, that, and the third? But if you read Tafsirs, then you'll realize, oh, that ain't no mistake. That's an explanation from Tafsir Sati. And again, this was designed to make it easier and take away all the parentheses, because a lot of people have issues with the Noble Quran because of the parentheses. So they made the Noble Quran better. That's all they did. I use them both. But when Ramadan hit, I'm gonna be right back in this one. Because I've been reading the Noble Quran. I read the Noble Quran, man. I've been reading that since about 2002, 2001. And I started reading this one right here, and I took that thematic class in 2021. It was during COVID. And I done read it 3 times. Cause we in 2000, so this Ramadan finna come up. So 2000, 2001, 2002, 2023, and then in 2024 I did the Sahih International. So I done read it like from front to back 3 times, 3 years in a row, once in a class. So I know what's to it. And then 2004 I did Sahih International. Matter of fact, nope, I'm not reading it again. I'm actually in a new Quran class, so I'm studying a whole new Quran. I haven't recommended it to anybody. I'm going to show it. I showed it before, but I'm going to give a little bit more detail about it. It's hard, but it'll confuse people because it's based off of Qirats. So this is a whole entirely different type of Quran. Thematic. This one is thematic. Let me show y'all the one I'm studying right now. Boy, when I tell you, when I get into this one here, whew, but like I said, I haven't recommended it to anybody. I haven't completed it, but I'm going to read it this year for Ramadan, and I'm in a class for this one right now. And when I tell you, boy, it's something, 1 minute. I keep. Okay, so this one right here, I'm in class for this one right now. Look, I ordered 2 of them because I want to keep this one. This is the one I keep in the home. This the travel one. Wallahi, this be in my bed with me. Right? As you can see, because it is paperback and it's a big paperback, I had to take tape and make a cover for it so that it wouldn't tear up. And it messed me up a little bit because I was putting my notes on the inside right here, and I can't do that no more because I had to put tape on it. But if you look right here, it'll say, this is the Bridges translations of the 10 qirats of the Noble Quran. So this one is translated based off of qirats, and then they don't necessarily try to give like certain definitions for the word. It give you exactly what the Arabic give you, not them trying to put it into English words. And man, look at that. Look at all them sticky notes through there. And some of my, even if you look at it right here, you can see like some of the pages that's folded that ain't got sticky notes in them before I had them. Even sticky notes on the side. I studied it. I'm in a class for this. And when I tell you, but when Ramadan hit, inshallah, I'm going to sit down on it and just read it Jews for Jews. But I like I say, it'll be a little confusing because like I said, it's based off the qirats. So it'll show how it's worded. Just like for instance in Al-Fatiha, where they have a difference between Maliki Yawmiddin and Maliki Yawmiddin. Those things have two different meanings, but one is stronger. It don't change the meaning. One just more stronger, more superior than the other one. So it'll show the different wordings and how they stronger for each sentence, and it's like that. I will say this ain't for no new jack. I'm gonna be honest with you. It ain't for no new jack. It's for somebody who it ain't gonna throw you all the way off, but I'll put it this way: it ain't gonna deviate you, but it might be some things in it you be like, I don't really quite understand that the way they worded that, because it's so close to the Fusha old Arabic. So you be like, hold on, that don't really come if you ain't really been through it. And that's why I sit down and tell them, man, I am somebody on YouTube. Just because you don't know me personally and you don't know who I did this with, and you might want a list for me to run down a resume, I'm not just somebody sitting down talking. Even if I may talk a little rugged and a little this and that, I'm not just somebody talking. Now, even when you look at this, I just got this. I probably only had this right here maybe, I don't know. I definitely got it. It ain't been that long. I don't even think it's been 6 months. I really want to say about 4 months ago. And look how I done been through it. You know what I'm saying? I sleep with this joint. Wallahi, this be in my bed right next to me. You know what I'm saying? I get into it. So when you studying and you trying to learn, I'm a Quran person. I'm a Hadith person. So for me, like I say, this right here, thematic, this is very necessary for people who understand and know. Studying the Quran with the Qur'an. Some people say you're not even a real Hafiz if you don't know the Quran in all 7 qirats. That's what some scholars say. Some scholars say you're not even a real Hafiz of the Quran if you don't know all 7 qirats. You know? So when you study from the qirats, and even with the tafsirs, I got 4 different sets of tafsirs that I go through. Asakdi, Ibn Kathir, Qurtubi, and Jalalain. So when I go and look at the tafsirs, I'm still going from 4 different sets. Not just Ibn Kathir. Even the same with the hadiths. I got the 6 mother books. I'm not saying this from a bragging standpoint. I go through and look at every single aspect from Bukhari, the Muslim, the Dawood, the Nasa'i, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah. And I look at them. I'm not just listening to somebody telling me something and saying you're the only person for me to talk to and that you're going to make a list for me. No, I'm not that weak, B. Not saying people who doing it that weak. Some people just don't know. They might be being held down a little bit. Y'all not gonna hold me down. I've been that. I come from that. You know what I'm saying? I've been studying religion for a very long time through everything. I done studied all of it, not took a look at it. You know what I'm saying? All of it. Even the Rastafari and the Copper and the Gods. So they can't come to me and just tell me anything, man. This is my life, kid. I gave up everything for this. You're not finna come. What's the argument to be had? You're using a video that ain't even valid. Although he did say, oh, okay, mashallah. So I'm not saying this like it's a beef. But I'm just saying, man, sometimes people need to go check and look at these things that they running around trying to run up on people with and look at the validity of it. How somebody gonna warn against a book that wasn't even out yet? Man, let me get off here, man. I done went too long, man. You know I gotta do what I gotta do. It's night time, the best time, you know, for those who know. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, man. I appreciate the people who say the good stuff to me in the comments. I'm trying my best not to shut them down but I done came up with a new method. And I'm just gonna keep it Dougie. People who come to the comments with that foolishness, I just hide the channel. And see, like what I say, they do little stuff like this. Some people understand the algorithm. I just want to explain to y'all certain things I try to stop them from doing. Some people understand the algorithm. So like the more thumbs up button, the more that the videos will go into the algorithm and more people will say it. But I don't never tell people to like and subscribe, hit the thumb button. That's why people who do videos, they tell people to hit the thumbs up button so that the video can get more in the algorithm and more people see it. Y'all never hear me say that. I don't make money off YouTube. So some of them who understand that, they'll start going and clicking the thumbs down on all the videos to keep it out of circulation. Alhamdulillah. Hey, this the card of Allah, baby. So they do little weird stuff or they do little crazy stuff and just start getting disrespectful. They stuff go right into the spam thing. So now I don't block them from the channel. I just click hide from channel. So anything they try to comment with their foolishness, nobody will ever see it. Not even me. They'll think they just chatting away and they'll be the only person that can see it. But YouTube monitoring. So then when they go to somebody else's videos trying to do it, instead of it going right in the comment, sometimes it'll go to their spam folder. And then the person who YouTube channel it is have to go through and look at it. But I put my Telegram information out there because it's some cool brothers. Some cool brothers, man, especially the young brother, man. That hit me up through Telegram. I communicate with a few people through Telegram. And then when they come through in that goofy on Telegram, I just hit it in the spam, report it as spam and block it. Because they talk stupid, man. You know what I'm saying? It's too close for Ramadan for me to be dealing with somebody that's on a fluky system from the begin with. But anyway, man, like I say, man, I appreciate it, man. Especially for people who know this channel was created for the people in this city. A sister came to me with a couple of other sisters who was having issues with the masjid and learning. They not teaching nothing because the masjids don't have no classes. So they wanted to come to my masjid and sit with me. Now, one of them is my daughter's mother. She the one who came to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? So these other sisters and this and that, even though, you know, we don't have it ain't no impermissible mingling between us. Let me word it that way. So with the other sisters, some of them had situation this and that. I can't be around them this and that. We couldn't find a time for to be on Zoom. We couldn't connect to do it from Zoom. So I said, cool, I'll just do a YouTube channel and then y'all let me know what y'all want me to discuss and I'll do it through YouTube. And if y'all have some questions y'all could get through to me, Y'all could text her, she could text me, and I could answer your questions. So I didn't even expect for more than 20 people to be on. I didn't expect to get more than 20 subscribers. So it's alhamdulillah for me. And I'm not after no money. And then, since I was on it, I already had the night classes with Deeds now. Deeds now was the ones who started convincing me you need to put our night classes on there. You know what I'm saying? That's why these on here. And it was I argued with them. It probably took them about almost 3 months? Man, it probably took about 3 months for them to get me to put the night classes on here. You know what I'm saying? Our night discussions. So anyway, man, I appreciate it, man. And you know, for the ones who try to rock out with the brother, man, y'all have to excuse me because every once in a while I get a little long-winded and have to go through different things, man. And it's due to people being in my comments. And I'm probably just gonna start leaving them alone. But when I do address them, it's because either some of the people who took the new Shahada or somebody who know me and they seen it in the comments and it was like, okay, you know, what's up with this? This a little confusing. And it may have confused somebody else who watched the videos that I don't necessarily talk to. So I'm really not defending myself. I'm putting the clarity out there for anybody who got confused and people who just sick and tired of dealing with these people running up on people for the last 10, 15 years and don't even be right like that. So anyway, man, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, man. May Allah be with us all and guide us all and keep us up on what's correct and allow us to have a very beautiful, successful, and peaceful Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum.